there was one buzzer which has remained unanswered.
I must have forgotten.
Yeah. The question was, the input service definition, there is an exclusion for insofar as the works contract services are concerned. Now, when I am building a mall, I am not aware as to whether I am utilizing it for the purpose of as a construction service or for the purpose of renting out. So there are two services I am engaging in as an output service. One is construction service and another is renting of a removed property. And against that I am having one common input, that is a construction service.
Some of it essentially it would mean this stuff.
Yeah.
Let me take it forward. What we probably mean is this: when I have a commercial premise which I am building, some of it I may sell out and some of it I may rent out. When I am actually constructing it, I do not know whether I am going to sell or rent out. I don't know about it. Right? So I take the entire credit. Or after having taken the entire credit, should I proportionately reverse it? Is the question that you are asking. Right? That is the question you are asking. My view.
Take it.
My view is answered by somebody. Avail the credit. At the time of taking credit, what is your intention?
Suppose the intention is good.
Is it expressed in any document? I leave it at that. It's for you to do the tax planning, and it is for you to also face the consequences of such tax planning.
Sir, would it apply also to the Part-3 sold sale of flats after completion certificate? Reversal of credit. Would it also apply? Would it also apply to the flats sold after completion certificate?
In my view, let me tell you, in my view, you are entitled to the full credit because of the flat transaction normally. Nobody envisages that he will wait till the end to sell it. See, his cash flow will be so seriously affected. So when you start a flat project, your normal intention would be, if you are collecting advances, let us say from 100 people, you would also expect that the other 100 flats, say you have 200 flats, you will expect that it would be sold, you will like it that way. It's another thing that you may not be able to sell it and you will be forced to sell it after completion. The fact remains that, in my view, the fact remains that if you have started receiving the advances and you have taken it that it is a service under 66E subclass B or under H, as the case may be, my view is you are entitled to the 100% credit. And there is no need to reverse even if you are selling something after such a long time. Because you had never had that intention. You never had that intention. That is my view. Yes.
The same, another variance of this, entertainment industry facing this problem. When you are making the film, and now the theatrical rights are exempted, and now satellite rights, other rights, music rights are taxable. So at this stage, while making the film, it is project of 2 to 3 years, sir. And the settlements are captured at that stage. At that stage, I am not knowing whether I will be selling the theatrical rights, I will be selling the satellite right, which proportion, what not, sir.
But primarily you are making it so that it will run in the multiplexes. That is where most of it.
Nowadays, if you go by the industry, the satellite rights, video rights, and there are
more than box office collections.
Yeah, box office collections.
Very good. Take the rate, I told you.
So that is so in that case, this is the practical problem, sir.
Yeah, I agree with you. See, you are going to have cases under Rule 6. Any of these matters will come up, and there, by intention, you will have to establish that I never had this intention. In fact, this construction, to take it further, see this provision which he said there was deeming fiction was there, and now they have put it into 66, the subclass B. Really, that has been borrowed directly from the UK Act 1994. In UK back 1994, there is a clause which specifically says it will amount to service if it is done, if any consideration is received prior to completion of the project. So this is that explanation which was added on 1/7/2010 was just a lift from there, so that they will tax the builders and developers. The intention was to tax builders and developers who pre-sell the flat. That is why they bought that explanation. That is the reason why it is there. So in my view, if you are collecting the advances as far as he is concerned, I think you should be able to take the credit. As far as film industry is concerned, they also have to say my intention was to give only theatrical, no theatrical rights, which will be difficult to establish. He is on better footing than you.
Yes.
No, for the film industry now, on the film industry from 1st April 2013, the service tax is applicable to the theatrical rights also. Your question is only up to before 1st April 13, right?
Yes, sir.
My question is regarding the exemption mega notification 25, item number 19 about the canteen. Industrial
19
canteen.
or 19A?
Now 19 has been added with 19A by virtue of the October notification of 14. Now the canteen run by the factory. My question.
Without air conditioning.
Huh?
Without air conditioning. That is
Now
not
without air conditioning. Now my questions are two. When the canteen contractor is appointed, what will be his role? Whether he will be taxed under service tax? Who is giving services to the industrial canteen?
He is an outdoor caterer.
But he is sitting in that canteen.
He is whether it is provided in his premise or any other premise. That is what it was earlier outdoor caterer.
Company has allotted in the premises.
Perfectly okay.
And
He
he
is an outdoor caterer. It is not his premise.
So my question, because you are very much optimistic and we are very happy with that. See,
Please don't import my optimism into your optimism.
see,
I am optimistic because I see so many cases will come.
yeah. That is the case over there. See, what 19A says that canteen run by the factory. It does not mean that the factory people should run it. They can hire the canteen contractor who bills to the factory itself, not to the employees. In that situation, the canteen contractor should also be exempted according to my views.
Yes, your view is very, very reasonable.
Sorry to interrupt, sir, but this issue has already been taken in paper 3, so we can discuss that.
It's okay. So if you don't, I have a view, I think I support what he says.
Thanks.
And let me also tell you, if there is a recovery from the employee,
Yeah.
we'll go one step further. Make it a recovery for the food. No service component will be there. Please think about it. Is there any further questions?
About your
Kerala High Court decision.
Kerala High Court decision on the constitutional validity which you find. See, what is Kerala? What is that entry? 66E, that is the 9th entry. HI. Service portion. Service portion in the supply of any food. That is how it is. The service portion in the supply as a part of. So essentially it should be a service in which food is supplied. That is the entry. It's not the other way around. It's not the food which is being supplied, service being incidental. No. Service portion in which supply of food or beverages, whether intoxicating or not, is a part. So, Kerala High Court said it is a deemed sale, and therefore it is invalid, constitutionally invalid to charge service tax. They have not, I think, in my view, noticed that in BSNL's case, the Supreme Court said 2 contracts can be vivisected. One is the works contract and the other is catering contracts. A catering contract can be vivisected. What should have actually been argued there in Kerala High Court to sustain the, to say that it is constitutionally invalid is that when you serve food in a restaurant, there is no service at all. Can you say that? If you cannot say that, then the judgment of the Kerala High Court will fail. You take a self-service can, you go, you stand Darshinis, which you go stand, eat food and go away. There, it's only the same. Sale of food. But if you go to a restaurant, sit there, somebody comes, serves you, can you say there is no service element? So in my view, I believe that the Kerala High Court decision may get set aside. Because vivisection is possible for catering contracts, as per the BSNL's decision. One has to oversee whether what are the justifications they can bring about when the matter goes in appeal. You can use it, it's persuasive value, you can use it till such time it is, it's set aside, but be careful, interest will always happen. Penalty will not be, interest will happen. If you are liable for it.
Sir, one of the query was on the canteen services. And in that, the fact of the case where, in the query itself you say from the recovery is made from the workers. So, sir, would you think that Ultratech cement decision Bombay High Court, wherein the Bombay High Court has said, whatever you recover from the workers or laborers, the salary is to be reversed to the extent.
To the extent it is not recovered.
It is to the extent?
It is not recovered. If it is recovered, there is no problem.
No, sir, it is recovered in the sense, if I am to 10 days rupees the bill of the canteen contractor.
You are saying to that extent it is recovered, proportionate credit will have to be reversed. That's what it is saying.
Yes. So, sir, what is your view on that? Because ultimately, tax incidence has been borne entirely by the company.
I fully agree with you. You see, this Manikal cement.
Yes.
And one more decision, Ultratech, if I am not mistaken, it is the same judge who sat on both those.
Yes, sir.
On one he said input service you should follow Maruti, and another he said it should not follow. I am sorry to say, I don't want to comment more on this. Because it is these kind of judgments which actually upset the cemetery. You are absolutely right. Every company bears the incidence. In fact, what they should have said is what is recovered is the cost of the food and not the service element. And then the credit should have been taken fully. That is what they should have said. Yes, sir. Please ask me. Yeah, please.
So my question is not to the seller actually. My question is whether this recovery of notified salary from employee by the employer is taxable?
Sir,
I should excuse myself.
we should restrict question only in respect of Senate only.
And Mani, this is covered in tomorrow's paper.
Yeah, tomorrow's paper also, otherwise also restrict.
Let me not step into somebody else's shoes, is what he's saying very succinctly. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with either.
So there was one issue related to the interpretation of the definition of input service. As there are three limbs to the definition now, the means limb, includes limb and excludes
Please
limb.
refer to the larger bench of the Supreme Court. Kisan Sahakari Mills case, they referred the Maruti Suzuki's decision to the larger bench because they disagreed with that reasoning in Maruti Suzuki's case. If I am not mistaken, Maruti Suzuki said there are three limbs and it should fit there and other things. But the bench of Justice D.K. Jain differed with that and referred the matter to the larger bench.
No, but the question was that exclusion thing, whether if something like the rating example that we took earlier, I have constructed a mall, my intention is to rent out the mall for the first instance. Right? So the
In
entire
my view, the exclusion will operate throughout.
flow. So means clause also it would be.
It will operate throughout. Means and includes clause. It will operate throughout. It is not restricted only to the means or the inclusion clause. If that is your question.
Yes.
But again, when you read the last exclusion clause to exclusion, when for the personal use and consumption,
Yes.
it means you are going back to again,
Everything is interrelated. Everything is interrelated. What I am saying, when you say it excludes, that means it's out of the ambit of the firstly and the inclusive clause. And the exclusion clause must be included. Should be then construed strictly to include only those uses for personal use. You cannot expand it beyond that. That is how you should interpret it. Or I would interpret it. Yes, sir, your question, sir? You had one more question? If you have 10, you stood up right now. No? Yeah.
But has been told that other than Sedgwick credit.
Yes.
But my question is very simple.
All questions are simple here.
Answers is very. See, as per audit and service tax, there are certain criteria. Ki less than 10,000, there will be auditing once in a 5 years. Now, I put up a question at Nasik Commissioners, Mr. Pandey, and I put up that circular there. So I told that your person comes for this criteria people, and they take for 5 years. Then why it is required? 5 years, I think it should be once in a 5 years, means in that 5 years he should check only 1 year. He said no, our person will come 5 years, once a 5 years, and will check all 5 years. Remember, then what is the requirement of this circular? So he said throw it out. So I need your explanation on that.
Throw it out. My view is clear. He's asked them to audit for 5 years and go. They will miss most of the transactions. Then the subsequent time when they come, you can say, I had a bona fide belief. There is no separation. Don't get into all these chota mota things. Let them audit 10 years also. Please do it. They will not understand the head or tail of what you have put in your mind. Even after all the training, whatever they get or whatever we train them or which is all faltu. Let me tell you, they will not be able to understand your balance sheets. Your profit and loss account. In fact, some of us, we ourselves don't know how to read the balance sheets. It has become so complicated. We have been practicing service tax for so many years now. We look at a balance sheet, I feel, why should they read all this time? It is so complicated. So why you leave them to
More
know?
difficult after IFRS.
Yes, I haven't understood all those things still. And I am happy that I have not understood service tax also. So it is all, I am not commonly getting both. Any other questions, sir?
Regarding capital goods and inputs, I required a little bit of explanation regarding the difference between the two. Inputs is related to excise duty, and capital goods is also related to excise duty on capital goods. But if there is some equipment like barge or something which is not eligible for input under capital goods, but there is excise duty paid or there is CVD paid while importing that, and I use it for cargo handling or I use it for some service taxable activity,
You can take credit.
I still feel credit can be taken under input.
What is the item?
Equipment could be like a barge also, or could be a crane also.
A barge or a crane which you are using for the purpose of?
For my account purpose, it gets my capital good, but it is not covered as capital goods under semi credit rules. It doesn't fall under the chapter heading of capital goods. Will I still get credit under input?
You see, you will have to, if an input, you will refer to the definition of input. It does include capital goods. It does include. It excludes capital goods except certain things. You will look at it this way. Any goods used, but excludes capital goods except when used as parts or components in the manufacture of a final product. So it's only for manufacturer that they have excluded this thing. Now you are saying that your item is used for providing output service, essentially, and it doesn't fall in capital goods. It's excluded specifically.
No, it is not in one of the chapters. It is
It's not in one of the chapters, and therefore you want to say it is an input.
Yes.
Because it's, you know what you should do. There is a decision of the large bench of the tribunal, 86 ELD, Union Carbide. But this was rendered in the context of the earlier Marquardt rules. 86 ELD. Union Carbide's case, large bench said, what is not covered in capital goods can get covered as inputs. In one of my own cases, Waters India, if you search that Express, you can find this Waters India. See, Waters India manufactures what is called a HPLC, high performance liquid chromatograph, which is used for analyzing liquids and gases. Now, an essential part of this is a computer. The department said this computer is capital goods and denied me the credit. I took an alternative stance that this computer is an input for the HPLC. And the tribunal said yes, the computer is an input for this HPLC because it is a component part of the equipment. So you try to say that you will fit under all goods used for providing the service and say that this, without this bar or whatever it is, I will not be in a position to provide this service. Try that and use this decision. Probably you will get relief.
So there is in that route to A. In route to A, the means clause, includes clause, and the excludes clause. Now reading them together, if you say that excludes clause specifically excludes
Capital goods.
something,
Capital goods.
then no, to N. Excludes exclusion clause. There is a specific exclusion clause over and above inclusion and means clause.
2L, no?
Yeah, input service.
Yeah.
So it includes all the three types of provisions, means, inclusion, and exclusion.
Correct.
By providing exclusions specifically, does it mean that barring those exclusions, everything will become a part of this availability of credit?
See, it is like this. Earlier, 2011, it would have been so. Now, you have to fit it in the main class. You must show, see, you have an inclusive class. If your services fit in the inclusive class, you are automatically entitled for credit. Your question is, whatever is not there in the exclusion class, is it automatically becomes entitled for credit? Then you have to fit it in the main class. That is used by a provider of output service or providing an output service. Now usage is what you have to do. That effectively means technical necessity. So if you can prove your technical necessity of an item, you will be entitled to credit.
Yeah, that is offshoot of what you have said, that you play on everything, and particularly by going by that logic, there won't be any difference between prior to 141 and post.
See, prior to 1/4/2011, I didn't have this difficulty because the definition said activity relating to business. I didn't have this difficulty. Now I have to justify the usage. Please see, that is the difference. Activities relating to business need not be directly used. Now I have to say that this is used. So that is the difficulty I am having. And by virtue of admissibility of credit, if you see Rule 9, the burden of proof is on me. In any of these things now, burden is on me to say that I am eligible for this matter. That is the issue. Yes, sir. So I think I have overshot the time, or I don't know. So I thank you very much for very good.
Thank you, Raghuraman sir. Very good afternoon to dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, and my dear friends. Few announcements first. A group photo will be taken immediately after this session, so request you all to assemble after this session in the lobby. Thereafter, afternoon tea and snacks will be served beside this hall at around 4:45. A cricket match is being scheduled, and all the participants who are interested can assemble nearby with the swimming pool after wearing your sportswear and coming in your sportsmanship. And it's 3:30. You can assemble at 3:30 nearby swimming pool. Arrangement for DJ has been made, which will start at around 8 p.m., which will be followed by dinner in the open lawn, what we have behind the hotel. And it may be noted that tomorrow by 10:15 we need to vacate the rooms. So it is requested that to all the participants to pack their bags tonight itself and keep it ready, because tomorrow morning sharply at 8 we will be starting with the third group discussion, paper study. So request you all to be on time tomorrow morning itself. The breakfast time will be 7 to 8 am. Now I request Raghuraman sir to felicitate the group leaders by giving them a memento for taking a painstaking job for leading the team, and also making the discussion much more interactive. I call the name Mr. Mandar Teran from Palwana Group. Mr. Hemant Shah from Mastana Group. And Mr. Manish Gaida sir from Diwana Group. A special thanks to Manish Gaida sir to step in shoes of Mr. Virendra, who was supposed to lead the team. However, unfortunately, because of ligament tear in the midway of their travel, he was not able to reach, unfortunately. Special thanks to Manish Gaida sir to accepting our invitation and proposal in the last minute. Now coming on present task of proposing a vote of thanks. Friends, it's a saying that knowing that a tomato is a fruit is a knowledge. However, to not to use the same fruit, that is tomato in a fruit salad, is a wisdom. And I am sure that all of you will agree that Raghuraman sir has helped us to build a bridge to fill the gap between the knowledge what we have for the provisions and the wisdom we can surely use by taking all the credit at the first step, and then we can litigate later on. With this, I request all of you to stand up.